We are live.
Hello again, YouTube audience. How's everyone out there doing today? Hope you're doing well. We're here live again, Boomer and Zoomer, with another exciting episode. This is a real exciting topic, I think,
Oh yeah.
today. Anyway, how you doing today, Joe?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
Just had some great breakfast
Oh, good.
made by you.
Well, it was just some toast and eggs, nothing fancy, Taylor ham. Anyway, today we're going to be having a discussion here, talking about a topic that
Can be seen as controversial among certain people, mainly adults can find it controversial.
Yeah, the subject has been brought up in the
Numerous
past.
times.
It has to do with video games and all kinds of from console video games to app games.
From fun brain teasers to first-person shooters.
Yeah. So and how mainly how these video games how they affect or maybe not even affect the people playing it for long periods of time.
In either a positive or negative way.
Yeah, mainly the younger people, how it affects them. Anyway, so we had, we discussed it, and Joe has done research on it and written a paper for his college, and I also as well have done research on it, and I wrote a paper on it in the past, and it was interesting because the research I did personally was pretty balanced. There was pretty strong and equal arguments on both sides. At the end, I walked away with no real clarification of whether it's good or bad. I'll get into more details of what the research found. But basically, I think it was more or less inconclusive one way or the other. But there was some very interesting studies done, and when we give you the information, maybe you guys out there will get swayed one way or the other based on what you hear. So let's start out with what you think, Joe. How do you feel? You seem to feel strongly one way, which is what, that in a positive way? Is that what?
Yes, absolutely. So I've been 20. I am 22 years old. I have been playing video games since probably I was maybe kindergarten-ish when I got my first gaming console, which was a Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP. I've played almost every variety of games you could think of. PC, mobile, console, new console, old console, shooters.
Okay, all right. So give us your opinion. What do you think? Like as far as
I think that video games have a positive influence on not just the brain but your personality as well.
Okay, how and why do you say that? What based on what?
On your brain. There's been studies that have been done. One was based off of, let me think back to my speech that I did. The video game Super Mario 64, because of the certain aspects of the game, it helped people improve their memory.
Okay.
From younger to older, it helped improve their memory.
And there was a study done?
Yes.
Do you remember what the details of the study?
I remember they did it in adults.
On adults?
Yes.
Okay, and how did they verify that it improved their memory?
They did memory tests
prior. So they did a baseline prior.
Yep.
Okay, and then how long did they play the game before they?
I think it was like a couple hours or like a couple sessions of playing the game.
Okay.
Because let's say you play the game for a while, and let's say you die at a certain point, and let's say, oh, I have to go to work. You come back. You play that portion again, and you remember what you just played. Okay. So you play the. I got.
All right. Wait. Let's finish this thought. Okay. So in a relatively short amount of time, there was a marked improvement in the memory.
Yes.
Okay. So my question then is, does that stick? In other words, does that improvement does that stay with the person, or do they lose it if they stopped the memory,
No.
the game?
No. If you do any other sorts of games or anything that requires memory, because you had that as a base to start improving your memory.
Right, but
it'll leak
my
it up
question
in
is,
areas.
once their memory has improved, as let's say they stop playing the games, will that improvement
Yes.
stay with the?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because
Okay.
like I even played the game myself, and after learning how to memorize, after playing it for a while and playing throughout the whole game, once you learn, you're like, oh, I have to memorize these patterns for these enemies, and then that can leak into other areas of your life.
Right. So you said this was done on adults. Was there any studies done on younger ones,
Yeah.
teenagers, or?
Yeah, they did a study on brain function
Okay.
on certain areas of the brain.
And what was that result on, and what age group?
It was like teenagers, and they also played Super Mario 64. But they were trying to see what areas of the brain were most functioning in it. And again, it was memory, and it showed that. And they did the same thing. They did the same type of test on teenagers, and what happened was their memory also improved. They did a memory test for one of the kids. Actually had a test coming up, and he ended up doing even better than he did on the previous one because he had done that study with the group and learned patterns. And when you learn patterns of things like I do, I memorize certain words and you memorize them in a pattern.
Right.
And
Right.
then when you go to take the test, you're like, oh, this word here, and then there you go.
Right. Right. And that actually goes along with some of the studies that I researched in a positive aspect of video games. And yes, memory was one of them. It created better not only memorization, but also what they call strategies for. Let me get the right wording here. It helped people that played these games, even younger ones, especially with the younger ones, how to problem solve. Because in a lot of these games, you have to figure out, like RuneScape games or games where you have to figure out what you have to do next to get to the next level. So it developed their problem solving skills.
That's
a lot more. What was I trying to say?
Mama, what? Record
Not
player?
muscle memory, reaction time, things of this nature.
That's Call of Duty.
Yeah, a lot of these games, in the positive aspect of playing these games, those were some of the things that they discovered. Also, it helped decision making. Yeah, so these were some of the big things that, in a positive sense. In a negative sense,
Violence.
they did a study on some individuals, and it was I believe it wasn't teenagers, and it wasn't the younger ones. It was a little bit older. I think it was between 20 and 40 age group, and they actually, when the person was playing the video game, they hooked all these wires and things that were hooked onto
Like a brain mapper.
Yeah, onto an electronic device to study what part of the brain was being stimulated while this person was playing the games. And some of the results were like in a lot of people, it created a higher level of anxiety, let's say, or or a heightened sense of fight or flight.
Yeah.
In some of the situations. And also too, in a lot of the games that, because they were focusing a lot of the study on violent video games, because the focus of that study was to see whether a violent video game would cause a person to go out and to do something violent in the real world.
Or recreate what they did.
Right, and one of the things they found was that a person, after playing for a long period of time, and I forget how many hours, but it was pretty much playing all day almost, like 15, 16 hours. And then the part of the brain that was being stimulated and actually pretty much shut down was the part of the brain that senses feelings and emotions. So these people that were playing these games would just acting and reacting to the situation with no emotional tie to it. And that crossed over to reality, where they couldn't distinguish between something that happened in a video game and something that might happen in real life right in front of you. That this is a real it's affecting other people, and you know, it kind of shut down that emotional response that someone might have in real life. Mm-hmm. So that was the negative part. That was the danger part. I don't know if you've read any studies on the negative part of things.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, and what did you find? Anything?
Almost the same thing that you were saying, but like it's called where you're desensitized to certain things. Like you play the violent thing in a video game, and then you watch, I don't know, a bombing happen in a foreign country, and instead of like, and
yeah, you kind of walk away from it and
like,
shrug as if like it's just watching it on a video game. So
like people think like a normal, like someone who has high morals and high emotions would be like, you're killing innocent people, you're killing innocent children, blah blah blah. But in the video game, you're just like, you just have to blow them up. And
I guess the best way to describe it is there was a significant disconnect between reality and a video game, and that's what the downside of the whole thing was. You know, pretty much along those lines. Mm-hmm. So again, I mean, I think, could it be a useful tool? Yeah, I think in helping and educating even young kids is very helpful, because you're incorporating a visual, you're incorporating a manual thing where you're involved. You have to do something manually to get to the answer, to learn something, or to figure something out. So it's stimulating a lot of parts of your brain. Your visual, your manual, your thinking abilities is all a good thing. I think it's helpful for young kids. The violent games for the young kids, I still don't think is a good idea.
Well, not too young though.
And even for older ones, too much sustained. I mean, there's got to be. I mean, there's plenty of good games out there that could be played that are, you know, helpful and beneficial.
Yeah, but if it's okay for me to bring up this topic about the video games that you're into.
I'm not into. I mean, that's a topic for another time.
Yeah.
For another time.
I'll summarize it.
Don't summarize it for me. Don't summarize it. I said no.
Well, no, into games that are action based. That's all I'm saying.
Some games, but I also like the brain teaser games. I like the word games. I like the Candy Crush and that.
Yeah, it's action based.
I mean, for me, like if I have a little downtime or I'm having a day where I just want to, I'll sit and I might play, you know, a game of word search for 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes, you know.
That's what I was going to try and say, though.
Yeah, so that's fine.
That's what I was trying to say.
All right, anyway, I don't want to, this video's going on pretty long.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
Just like and subscribe. If you sneeze during this video, bless you.
Like, subscribe, and comment below. A reminder of...
at the end of this month, we will be doing a special if we hit 30 subscribers before the end of this month, not after, before the end of April. Make sure to do that. Like, comment some of the games that you're into, and maybe we'll talk about it if we have played them before.
Yep, do that. Feedback, yeah, comment on what you think about this video or anything else that you want to bring up, any suggestions or any input you might have on this subject or any other subject. We would really appreciate it, and we'll be certain to address it in the next video. All right, thanks again. And that wraps it up for this video.
Have a good day.
Peace out.